The rain-slicked streets of Central Park whispered secrets to the empty dawn. But Alexander Hayes heard none of them. He had wandered off his usual jogging path, the weight of another boardroom victory feeling hollower than ever, when he spotted the boy curled like a discarded promise on a bench, shivering under a threadbare jacket that couldn't hide the sharp angles of hunger. In that frozen instant, as thunder grumbled overhead, Alexander's heart stuttered. Those hazel eyes fluttered open, locking onto his with a mix of fear and fire. And the billionaire knew, with a gut punch that stole his breath, that this stranger was no stranger at all. It was the eyes, his own eyes, staring back from a face too young to carry such ghosts. Alexander Hayes had built empires from nothing, turning a scrappy tech startup into a billion-dollar juggernaut that reshaped how the world connected. At 42, he was the man everyone envied: sharp suits, sharper mind, a penthouse overlooking the Hudson that screamed success. But success had a way of echoing in empty rooms. And lately, those echoes sounded like regrets. Divorced twice, childless by choicer, so he told himself, poured his life into code and contracts, avoiding the messy code of human hearts. Until that morning in the park, when the boy on the bench cracked open a file Alexander had long deleted. Liam shifted, pulling his knees tighter to his chest, the damp chill seeping into his bones like an old betrayal. 17 years old, and he'd already learned that the world didn't bend for dreams. Born in a crumbling suburb outside Chicago to a mother who sang lullabies in Spanish and a father who vanished before the ink dried on his birth certificate, Liam had always felt like a glitch in the system. His hazel eyes, inherited from some absent ghost, saw colors in a grayscale world: rainbows and sunsets, poetry in graffiti. But when those colors painted his truth, coming out as gay at 15, his mother's church-going family turned the page on him. "You're a phase," his uncle had snarled, shoving a bus ticket into his hand. "Or a sin. Either way, you're not ours anymore." So Liam ran, from Illinois to New York, chasing whispers of acceptance in a city that promised reinvention but delivered rain and rejection. He'd couch-surfed with strangers met in dimly lit cafes, each one a fleeting ally until the questions got too deep. Now, 3 weeks into sleeping rough, his backpack held all he owned: a dog-eared journal of half-written songs, a photo of his mom before the lines of worry etched her face, and a pride pin bent from too many falls. Hunger gnawed, but pride, that stubborn spark, kept him from begging. Until the man in the fancy coat knelt down, his voice like gravel wrapped in silk. "Kid, you can't stay here. It's not safe." Liam's laugh was brittle, a shield cracking. "Safe? That's a luxury I traded for a ticket out of hell." He eyed the stranger, tall, polished, with the kind of face that graced Forbes covers. Not a cop, not a creep, just a guy who looked like he'd never known a cold night. "What do you want?" "Suit. My life story for your morning TED Talk." Alexander froze, the boy's words slicing through the armor of his detachment. That voice, faint echo of a summer long buried, when he'd been 25 and foolish, tangled in a whirlwind romance with Elena, a fiery artist from Pilsen. They'd met at a Chicago gallery opening, her laughter pulling him from his algorithms into stolen weekends. But when she whispered pregnancy months later, fear won. He bolted, wiring money anonymously, vanishing into his rising career like a ghost in the machine. Elena had vanished too, or so he thought until now, staring at this boy who shared his jawline, his guarded gaze. "You're Elena's." The words tumbled out, raw and ragged, as if saying them made it real. Alexander's hand trembled, hovering near Liam's shoulder, afraid touch would shatter the illusion. Rain pattered harder, blurring the world to just them, father and son, strangers on a bench. Liam recoiled, hazel eyes widening in the dim light. How the hell do you know my mom's name? Panic surged. Hot and familiar, the same flood that had him packing a bag at 16 when his cousin outed him at a family barbecue. Whispers turned to shouts. Bible verses hurled like stones. Elena, torn between blood and boy, chose silence. Her tears the only goodbye. Liam had boarded that greyhound with a heart full of shards, vowing never to look back. And now this man, this intruder with eyes like his own, unearthed the grave. Alexander's mind raced. Timelines colliding. 22 years ago, he'd been the one running from small-town Ireland roots transplanted to American dreams. From a father who called his ambitions fancy nonsense. Elena's news had been the breaking point. He wasn't ready for fatherhood. Not when his own had been a shadow. So he fled to Silicon Valley, burying guilt under venture capital. But the boy Liam. Elena must have named him after her grandfather carried the proof in his veins. In the way he tilted his head. Defiant yet aching. I knew her. In Chicago. A lifetime ago. Alexander's voice cracked. The billionaire's poise fracturing. He shrugged off his coat, draping it over Liam's shoulders, warmth against the chill. A gesture small as an apology. I'm Alexander Hayes. And if you're who I think. God. Kid. I'm your father. The word hung like thunder. Electric and impossible. Liam's world tilted. The park spinning into a vortex of what-ifs. Father. The faceless donor in his mom's bedtime stories. The villain in his silent curses. He wanted to bolt. To laugh it off as a cruel city joke. But those eyes held him mirrors of his own isolation. Reflecting back the loneliness he'd hidden behind smirks and songs. No. Liam's whisper was a wound reopening. You don't get to drop that bomb and play hero. You left. Before I even breathed. Tears stung. Hot against the rain. As memories flooded, Elena's weary smiles over ramen dinners. Her whispers of he's out there. Mijo. Building stars. Lies. All of it stars that never fell for them. Alexander nodded. The weight of decades crashing down. I was a coward. Scared of failing you before I started. He sat on the bench's edge. Space between them a chasm of years. But I'm here now. Let me help. At least get you dry. Fed. No strings. Liam searched those blue eyes. Seeing not pity, but pine a mirror to his own. The rain eased to a drizzle. Dawn painting the sky in hesitant pinks. For the first time in months, the cold felt less like an enemy. Fine. He muttered, standing on shaky legs. But if this is pity, walk away now. As they trudged toward Alexander's waiting car, the city awakening around them. Neither knew the road ahead, a maze of revelations, resistances, and redemptions. Liam, the gay teen who'd learned to survive by hiding his heart. And Alexander, the tycoon who'd armored his against the world they were bound now. Father and son, in a story that would test every wall they'd built. The sleek black SUV hummed through Manhattan's awakening veins. Skyscrapers looming like judgmental giants over the man and boy inside. Liam clutched the coat tighter. Its woolen synth leather and cologne foreign yet oddly grounding. He stole glances at Alexander, now silent in the passenger seat. His profile etched with lines that spoke of sleepless nights and signed deals. The billionaire who'd once ghosted his own blood, now fidgeting like a kid caught in a lie. It was almost funny, if it didn't ache so deep. They pulled up to a towering glass monolith on the Upper East Side. Hayes Tower, Alexander's fortress of fortune. The doorman nodded deferentially. But Liam felt eyes on him. Whispers unspoken. Inside the marble lobby, elevators whispered upward, depositing them into a penthouse that screamed excess, floor-to-ceiling windows framing the East River. Minimalist furniture in shades of steel and cream. Art that probably cost more than his mom's old apartment. Make yourself at home, Alexander said, voice tentative, gesturing to a kitchen island gleaming with untouched gadgets. Coffee. Or something stronger. He winced. Stupid question for a kid. Liam snorted, dropping his backpack by the door like a gauntlet. Water's fine. And home. That's a word I haven't used since. Well, ever. He wandered to the window, pressing a palm to the cool glass. The city sprawling below like a map of missed chances. New York had chewed him up. Odd jobs washing dishes. Nights in shelters where Lears followed his slight frame. His quiet pride drawing unwanted shadows. Coming out hadn't just lost him family. It had painted a target on his back in a world that preached tolerance but practiced tolerance with footnotes. Alexander busied himself with a kettle. The domesticity absurd on his manicured hands. Liam. About your mom. I tried to check on her. After. Sent money through a service. Anonymous. Never heard back. Lies to himself. Realized stopped after the first bounce check. Guilt too heavy to carry across states. She burned it. Liam said flatly. Turning. Said taking from ghosts made her one too. Raised me on waitressing tips and sheer will. Until the family found out about me. His voice dipped. The memory of fresh brews. The barbecue, cousins splashing in the kiddie pool. Aunts gossiping over potato salad. He'd kissed a boy from school behind the garage innocent. Electric in his cousin's taunt had spread like wildfire. Faggot. Echoed from the porch. Uncle Raoul's face twisting into something ugly. Elena's pleas fell on deaf ears. The church elders decreed him influence. A poison to purify. Alexander poured the water. Steam rising like unspoken fury. They had no right. None. He slid the glass over. Their fingers brushing electric. A spark across the divide. And me. I should have been there. Fought for you both. Liam sipped. The coolness soothing his parched throat. Why now? Some midlife crisis. Saw a sad kid and bingo redemption arc. Bitterness laced his words. But beneath it, a hunger for truth. For the father who'd been a shadow in Elena's stories. Alexander leaned against the counter. Deflating. Partly. I've got everything. Liam. And it feels like nothing. Last year, a deal went south. Lost a mentor. The kind who believed in second chances. Made me think about the ones I denied. He paused. Eyes distant. Then you. On that bench. Like fate slapping me awake. The boy studied him. Seeing cracks in the facade, the slight tremor in those steady hands. The way his gaze softened on Liam's pride pin. Glinting defiantly on the coat lapel. Fate's a bitch. Liam murmured. But yeah. I get lost deals. My life's one big fire sale. A beat of silence. Then Alexander's laugh low. Genuine broke it. Touché. How about breakfast? Real food. Not park bench gourmet. They ate in awkward tandem. Eggs scrambled with herbs Liam had never tasted. Toast that didn't crunch like cardboard. Conversation stuttered weather. The Yankees' latest slump but undercurrents pulled, questions unasked. Histories colliding. Liam shared snippets, his love for sketching cityscapes. The guitar pawned for bus fare. The underground poetry slams where he'd first felt seen. Reciting verses about loving in shadows. You're talented, Alexander said. Genuine awe flickering. I mean it. Show me sometime. Liam shrugged. Warmth blooming despite himself. Maybe. If you don't critique it like a spreadsheet. As morning bled into noon, Alexander's assistant Buzzita meeting loomed. Empire's waiting. Stay here today? He urged, grabbing his briefcase. Rest. There's a guest room, clean sheets. Hot shower. We'll talk more tonight. About everything. Liam nodded. The penthouse suddenly too vast. Too quiet. Alone. He explored, the library stacked with biographies of innovators. None admitting their fractures. The balcony where wind carried Hudson whispers. In the guest room soft bed. Ensuite bathed stripped off the grime of streets. Water cascading like absolution. For the first time in weeks. Sleep came deep. Dreamless. But waking brought the mirror, his reflection. Lean and marked faint scar on his cheek from a shelter scuffle. Eyes hollow from hidden tears. Who was he here? The runaway. The revelation. An Alexander dad. What role did he crave beyond fixer? Downstairs. Alexander paced his office. Phone in hand. He dialed a PI from his Rolodex. Voice steel. Find Elena Morales. Chicago. Discreet. And anything on her family the fallout. Guilt twisted. He'd failed her once. But now. For Liam. He'd unearthed truths. No matter the rot. By evening. Liam emerged. Towel-dried hair curling. In borrowed sweats too big. They ordered pizza greasy. Gloria sprawling on the leather couch like old friends testing waters. Tell me about you. Liam prompted. Slice in hand. The real you. Not the headline. Alexander hesitated. Then Dove, boyhood in Boston suburbs. Coding his first app on a clunky PC. The thrill of first funding mingled with Elena's ghost. I loved her. You know. Wildly. But love scared me more than failure. Liam chewed thoughtfully. Love's always scary. Especially when it's you loving you. He fiddled with the pen. Voice dropping. After the family kicked me out. I tried churches. Hotlines everyone said pray it away. But it's not a bug. Dad. It's my code. The word dad slipped out. Tentative as a bridge. Alexander's throat tightened. Never a bug. Son. Ever. He reached over. Hesitant. Clasping Liam's shoulder solid. Real. The touch lingered. A vow in the quiet. Night fell. City lights twinkling like distant stars. In that penthouse glow. Walls began to thin, not gone. But permeable. Liam journaled by the window. Words flowing freer. Alexander stared at spreadsheets. But saw futures rewritten. Father and son. Mending threads in time's frayed tapestry. Unaware of storms gathering families fractured. Secrets simmering. A journey just unfurling. Weeks blurred into a tentative rhythm. The penthouse evolving from sterile showcase to shared sanctuary. Liam claimed the sunlit corner for sketching. His pencils dancing across pads Alexander stocked without fanfare charcoals. Watercolors. The tools of creation he'd never wielded himself. Mornings brought breakfast banter. Liam teasing Alexander's burnt toast attempts. The billionaire countering with tales of Silicon Valley mishaps. Like the time he spilled coffee on Steve Jobs' prototype. Laughter echoed. Fragile at first. Then fuller. Filling voids neither named. But beneath the ease. Fissures ran deep. Liam's nights twisted with dreams Elena's face dissolving into rain. Uncle Raoul's sneer morphing into park bench shadows. He'd wake gasping. Pride pin clutched like a talisman. Tiptoeing to the balcony where city hum drowned his sobs. Alexander heard. Of course insomnia his old companion, but knocking felt like intrusion. So he'd brew tea. Leave it steaming outside the door. Silent offerings. Building trust brick by unspoken brick. One crisp October afternoon. Alexander cleared his schedule. A rarity that raised Liam's brow. Field trip. He announced. Tossing keys to the SUV. No boardrooms today. Just us. They drove north. Hudson Valley's leaves ablaze in reds and golds a palette Liam itched to capture. Alexander navigated winding roads. Playlist shuffling indie folk that surprised Liam, Bon Iver. Raw and resonant. Your mom played this. Alexander confessed, grip tightening on the wheel. On that old turntable in her studio. Said it made her feel infinite. Liam's chest tightened. A pang for the woman he'd left behind. She still paints. Last letter before I stopped writing, she mentioned a community center gig. Alexander nodded. Eyes on the road. We'll find out. Together. The promise hung. Heavy with intent. Their destination, a secluded orchard. Apple boughs heavy with fruit. The air tart and alive. Alexander had booked it Privatino tourists. Just ladders and baskets. The simple labor of harvest. Liam climbed first. Nimble as a cat. Tossing ruby orbs down with whoops of glee. Alexander fumbled. Suit jacket shed. Tie askew laughing as one poem conked his head. Revenge for the toast. Liam called. Grin wide. For hours. They picked. The physicality stripping pretenses. Juice-stained fingers. Stories spilled freer. Liam recounting his first Crushaw quiet boy in art class. Stolen glances over easel Chartake, blooming young. He ghosted after the family found out. Said it was too much heat. Vulnerability laced his words. The orchard a confessional. Alexander listened. Apples forgotten. He'd I know? Coming here from Ireland at 18 green as these leaves. Accent thick. Folks back home called my dreams Yankee fever. But I burned anyway. He paused. Ladder creaking. And you? You're braver than I ever was. Owning your heart in a world that wants it boxed. Liam descended. Basket brimming. Brave. Or just stubborn. Mom said I got that from you. The admission bridged. Tentative. Dusk painted the sky violet as they picnicked under a gnarled oak cheddar. Cider. The fruit of their hands. Alexander pulled a photo from his wallet. Faded, him and Elena. 20-something. Arms entwined at a lakeside. Her laugh captured mid-bloom. I kept this. Only thing I didn't delete. Liam traced the edges. Elena's eyes his eyes sparkling. She forgave you. You know. In her way. Said you gave her meth, best glitch ever. Tears pricked. But he blinked them back. Strength in the sharing. Driving home. Stars pricking the ink-black sky. Liam's phone buzzied a cheap burner. Lifeline to shadows. Text from an old slam buddy. Heard you're shacked with a whale. Watch your back. Kidrich folks collect strays. Cynicism stung. A reminder of streets where trust was currency spent fast. That night. Over takeout Thai. Liam voiced it. People talk. About us. The help stares. Like I'm your charity case. Insecurity flickered. The gay teen's armor denting under scrutiny. Alexander set down his fork. Serious. Let them. You're not Cherichery family. And family. We fight for. He reached across. Hand open. Liam took it. Pulse sinking in the Quieta pact sealed. But peace proved fleeting. Days later. Alexander's PI delivered a dossier on Elena. Thick with heartache. She thrived in Chicago art teacher now. Remarried to a kind mechanic, but the family rift festered. Uncle Raoul's influence, whispers in her ear. Guilt trips over holiday tables. They blame her for you. The report noted. Call him the devil's seed. Alexander's fury simmered. But Liam's reaction shattered calm. Reading it in the study. Face ashen. He hurled the folder. Devil's seed. That's Meteor blood. But poison. Sobs racked him. Raw and rare. Collapsing into Alexander's arms for the first time. I thought running fixed it. But it follows. Alexander held him. Fierce. It ends here. With us. Vow made. Plans sparked. A trip to Chicago. Confrontations pending. Father and son. Forged in orchard light. Now steeled for Stormlove's true test, not in giving, but guarding. As winter nipped the city. Liam's sketches evolved, not just streets, but portraits. Alexander mid-laugh. Elena from memory. Himself emerging from shadows. Pride pin aglow. Art as armor. Healing in hues. Alexander watched. Pride swelling. His own heart thawing. The boy who'd frozen time on a bench now melted it. Drop by precious drop. Chicago loomed under a steel-gray sky. O'Hare's bustle a chaotic homecoming for Liam. The private jet. Alexander's concession to speed had whisked them from New York in hours. But the flight felt eternal. Turbulence mirroring the churn in Liam's gut. He gripped the armrest. Hazel eyes fixed on the window's endless clouds. While Alexander reviewed notes like a battle plan, addresses, timelines, the PI's map of old wounds. You sure about this? Liam asked, voice small amid the leather seats. Mom might not. I mean, it's been months. What if she sends us packing? Alexander squeezed his knee. Steady. Then we respect it. But silence. That's no ending. His own fears not facing Elena, the woman he'd abandoned. Her eyes judging the man he'd become. Yet for Liam, he'd face fire. The cab wove through familiar streets, Pilsen's murals vibrant against brick. To carry a spilling spice-scented air. Liam's heart raced. Landmarks triggering flood schoolyard swings where he'd first felt butterflies for a boy. The corner store where Elena bought him popsicles after bad days. Home. Fractured but etched in bone. They pulled up to a modest bungalow. Porch sagging but flowers defiant in window boxes. Elena Morales Herrera answered the bell. Paint-splattered apron over jeans. Dark hair streaked silver. Liam's eyes widening in shock. Mijo. Breath caught. Arms opening before questions could form. Liam folded into her. Sobs muffled in lavender and turpentine. Mama. I'm sorry. I should have called. Time collapsed. Months of absence dissolving in embrace. Elena pulled back, cupping his face, then froze on Alexander. Ghost made flesh. Alex. Dios mío. No slap. No scream. Just weary recognition. Laced with ache. Elena. He started. Voice rough. Inside. She commanded, ushering them to a kitchen alive with chaos, half-glazed canvases. Toddler toys from her husband's blended brood. Coffee brewed strong. Questions poured stronger. Liam spilled first the bus ticket. The streets. The park bench miracle. Elena wept silent tears. Hand over mouth. My boy. Alone. I searched. Called shelters. Thought you'd vanished like him. Gaze flicked to Alexander. Sharp. He took the hit, laying bare his flight. The anonymous wires. The void. I was young. Terrified. But Liam. He's the best of us. Brought me back. Hours unfolded. Stories swapped over tamales. Her husband. Carlos. Grilled with quiet grace. A burly man with a mechanic's hands and a father's warmth. He clapped Alexander's shoulder. Takes guts to show up late. Guts to forgive early. His easy acceptance of Liam's truth, no flinch at the pride pin-eased knots Liam hadn't named. But shadows lingered. Evening brought Raul's shadow, Elena's brother. Phoning insistent. Family dinner tomorrow. He boomed through the receiver. Bring the prodigal. We'll pray it out. Elena's face tightened. Not yet. Pomano. But doubt crept blood's pull. Church's weight. Liam caught it. Fire igniting. No prayers needed. Tio. Just truth. Yet sleep evaded him that night. Guest room in Carlos's den, a cocoon of what-ifs. Dreams twisted, Raul's sermons thundering. Family eyes condemning his love for a phantom boy from slams. Dawn brought resolve. Alexander found him sketching a family portrait. Raul's face softened in pencil mercy. Confrontation's a two-way. The billionaire advised. Lead with heart, not heat. The dinner house, a sprawling ranch in the suburbs. Kin gathered like storm clouds, cousins awkward. Aunts pious. Raoul at head like a patriarch in waiting. Air thick with pot roast and pretense. Greetings strained. Look who returns. Raoul boomed, eyeing Liam. God's mercies are many. Liam met his gaze. Steady. Mercies. Or mine. The table hushed. Raoul's smile thinned. Boy, you've strayed. That. Lifestyle. It's a choice. Fixable with faith. Alexander tensed. But Liam leaned in. Choice. Like you choosing to kick me out. Mom cried for weeks. Tio. Because of your faith. Voice rose. Raw years of silence erupting. I'm gay. It's who I am. Not a phase. Not sin. And Dad here's proof. Families fix. They don't fracture. Gasps rippled. An aunt crossed herself. Elena gripped Liam's hand under the table. Carlos nodding support. Raoul flushed, sputtering verses. But Alexander spoke then calm thunder. Enough. I left once. Cowardice my sin. Won't watch it again. Liam's stronger than us, all love's fierce. Creates beauty. Judge that. If you dare. The room crackled. Fork still. Raoul's eyes darted defiance, cracking into doubt. Glimpsing the boy he'd condemned. Now man forged in fire. We. Meant protect. He muttered. Deflating. Protect starts with accept. Liam countered. Tears brimming, but chin high. Or it's just control. Dessert dissolved into murmurs. Alliances shifting. Not all mended cousins averted eyes. Verses lingered but seeds planted, an aunt's hesitant hug. Raoul's gruff, think on it. As they departed, Elena pressed a canvas into Liam's arms, his childhood home. Vibrant. Whole. You're always welcome. Mijo. Always. Back in the cab. Silence companionable. You were magnificent. Alexander murmured. Liam leaned on his shoulder. Weary, triumphant. We both were. Chicago receded. But its lessons clung, forgiveness not erasure. But evolution. Family. Blood or chosen. A garden demanding tending. In New York. Winter deepened. But Liam bloomed, enrolling in an online art program Alexander funded quietly. Slams reignited with verses of bridges burned and rebuilt. Alexander, too, shifted, donating to LGBTQ shelters. His empire's code now inclusive. Lines blurring between profit and purpose. Yet growth invited gales. A tabloid leak PI's slip. Splashed headlines. Billionaire's secret son, from streets to suite. Paparazzi swarmed the tower. Flashes blinding Liam's sketches. Questions probing his lifestyle. Isolation crept back. The gay teen spotlight, a double-edged blade. One night, cornered in the lobby. A reporter sneered, traded benches for billions. Kid, what's the angle? Liam's retort burned. Angle. Survival. And love the kind you can't buy. But inside, doubt festered. Was he pawn or partner? Alexander found him barricaded in the studio. Charcoal's smudged face streaked. They're vultures. He growled, pulling Liam into a hug. But you're no prey. In that embrace, Liam whispered fears. What if they see me as the gay sob story? Your redemption prop. Never. Alexander fierce. You're the spark. My guide. Vow renewed. They plotted counters, a foundation launch. Liam's voice amplifying others like him. Spring teased the city. Cherry blossoms defiant. Father and son. Scarred but standing. Faced the gale together, love's language. Fluent now in forgiveness. Summer scorched New York into a furnace. But the Hayes penthouse cooled with purpose. Liam's art corner exploded, canvases leaning like sentinels. Bursts of color chronicling his metamorphosis, a bench dissolving into skyline. Hazel eyes multiplying across self-portraits. Pride pins woven into every frame. Galleries scouted him. Whispers of shows. But Liam demurred. Voice steady. Not yet. Art's for healing. Not hustle. Alexander beamed. Paternal pride, a new suit fitting perfect. His days blurred boardrooms with advocacy, the Hayes Foundation birthed. Seed money for youth centers, safe harbors for runaways like his son. Speeches flowed from him now. Not scripted polish, but raw truth. I built walls to win. But family. That's the real empire, vulnerable. Vital. Yet beneath triumphs, Liam's inner tempests brewed. Slams packed houses. His poetry lacerating crowds. Verses of fractured homes. Forbidden kisses. The ache of unseen love. Admirers clustered post-Mick boys with shy smiles. Eyes lingering. One. Theo. Stood out, lanky. With a poet's tousle and a laugh like summer rain. They bonded over late-night coffees. Shared notebooks. Electric undercurrents humming. First date, a rooftop jazz bar. Stars winking approval. Theo's hand brushed Liam's over shared fries. Tentative. You're fire on stage. He murmured. But off. That quiet storm in your eyes. Liam's heart stuttered. Walls quivering. Storm's real. Lost a lot to it. Honesty spilled, streets. Family fallout. The father who'd risen from ashes. Theo listened. No judgment, his own tale mirroring, small-town exile. Art school sanctuary. Kisses came soft under city glow. Theo's lips tasting of possibility. Liam floated home. Journal ablaze with sonnets. But dawn brought thorns, mirrors mocking. Whispers of unworthiness. He'll see the cracks. He'd mutter. Tracing bench scars faded but felt. Alexander noticed the glow dimming. Sketches darkening. Over dinner steak seared rare. Liam's favorite tea probed gentle. Someone special. Liam flushed. Fork twisting. Theo. Poet. Makes me feel seen. Pause. Vulnerability cresting. But what if I drag him into my mess? The headlines. The history. Alexander's eyes softened. Memories of Elena surfacing. Love's not clean. Son. It's the mess that makes it magic. You deserve to chase it fierce. Free. Emboldened. Liam Dove, park walks hand in hand. Gallery hops where Theo critiqued with kisses. Nights tangled in laughter and whispers. Theo met Alexander over awkward brunch, billionaire grilling light. Poet holding ground with quips. Heard you code worlds. Theo teased. Liam codes hearts. Watch out. Bonds wove tight. But fate tested. A Chicago call, Elena. Voice trembling. Raoul's church hosted a reparative seminar, flyers damning lifestyles. Targeting youth like Liam. He's rallying family. She confessed. Says it's for your soul. Rage ignited. Liam paced the penthouse. Theo's hand steadying. They don't quit. Think prayers erase me. Alexander. Ever strategist. Countered. Fight fire with light. Go public your story. Your stage. The Foundation's launch gala loomed. Perfect platform. Nerves gnawed. But Liam scripted, a speech blending poetry. Plea Gay Teens manifesto on acceptance's power. Rehearsals with Theo's cheers. Alexander's nods built courage. Gala night, Met's grand halls shimmered. Elites mingling under chandeliers. Liam ascended the podium. Spotlights warm, not searing. I slept on benches. Invisible. He began. Voice clear. A runaway. Rejected for loving who I love. But love. It's the code that connects us. Verses flowed. Chicago rains. New York dawns. A father's frozen moment crowd rapped, tears glinting on tuxedos. Applause thundered. But backstage, Theo enveloped him. You slayed. Storm boy. Kiss deep. Affirming. News rippled. Headlines shifted. Hayes airs heart. A call for kindness. Raul's flyers drowned in digital waves. Backlash bittrolls spewing venom online. A cousin's cutting email, but support surged. Letters from kids like him. Elena's proud voicemail. Yet victory veiled deeper quakes. Theo's lease ended. Dreams pulled him to LA. Screenwriting calls beckoning. Come with. He asked one twilight balcony. City humming below. Liam hesitated. Theo's warmth clashing with Ruth's new sprung. NY's home now. Dad. The foundation. It's where I heal. Tears welled. Long distance. Or lose you. Theo cupped his face. Distance tests. Doesn't end. We'll rewrite the miles. Promise sealed with salt-kissed lips. Parting at the airport, wrenched hugs lingering. Promises whispered. Liam returned hollowed. Sketches abstracting pain into swirls. Alexander found him there. Offering space. Not solutions. Hearts expand. Son. Yours will too. Autumn leaves fell like confetti for Theo's absence. But Liam channeled a mural project for the foundation. Vibrant walls in a Brooklyn shelter, rainbows rising from ruins. Alexander joined. Paint-splattered sleeves rolled. Laughter echoing as they layered hope. One evening. Package arrived, Theo's notebook. Verses for Liam. Ending. Storms pass. Stars remain. Yours always. Heart mended. Not whole, but whole enough. Winter whispered change. Liam's first solo show, Beckon Gallery walls awaiting his truths. Invites sent, Elena. Carlos. Even Raul, a quiet olive branch. As snow dusted the city. Father and son prepped frames. Bond unbreakable. Liam. Once benchbound. Now beheld love's canvas. Ever unfolding. The gallery buzzed with velvet ropes and veiled anticipation. Soho's lofts transformed into Liam's lexicon of light. Canvases glowed under pinpoint spots, bench echoes. A swirling vortex of urban grays birthing hazel dawn. Ghost lines. Faint outlines of Elena and Alexander merging into pride-pinned silhouette. At 20 now, birthday marked quietly with Theo's video call and Alexander's antique guitar. Liam stood taller. His frame filled out by home-cooked meals and heart's ease. Opening night thrummed, critics scribbling. Collectors circling. But Liam's eyes sought familiars. Elena arrived first. Carlos in tow. Her arm linked with a hesitant Raul graying. Gait slower. Eyes downcast. Mijo. She beamed, pulling him into flower-dusted embrace. Your colors. They're us. Alive. Raul hovered. Throat clearing. Beautiful work. Nephew. Pause. Waited. Heard your speech. Made me. Reflect. No apology grant. But sincerity cracked his armor, church sermons softening. Perhaps. Under grandson's influence from afar. Liam nodded. Bridge extending. Thanks. Tio. Means more than you know. Handshake firm. History's ledger balanced. Not erased. Alexander lingered near. Scotch in hand. Pride radiating. You did this. He murmured later. As crowds thinned. From nothing to now? Not nothing. Liam countered. Clinking glasses. From us. The billionaire's eyes misted rare vulnerability. The man who'd frozen time now fluid in its flow. Theo's flight landed post-gala. Surprise scripted with Alexander's wink. Reunion at the penthouse, arms colliding. Laughter spilling. Verses recited over midnight pizza. LA scripts got no soul like yours. Theo confessed. Fingers tracing Liam's jaw. Distance had honed their hunger. Love sharpened, not dulled. Months danced. Collaborations bloomed. Liam's art inspiring Theo's pilot. A queer youth drama raw with Real. Alexander funded sets. A producer's eye spotting gold. Family wove wider. Holidays in Chicago. Elena's table groaning. Raoul's toast tentative but toasting. Even Alexander's exes trickled in awkward brunches yielding blessings. Past pardoned. But life's arc bent dramatic. Spring brought crisis. Alexander's empire Quikita rival hack. Data breached. Stocks plummeting. Boardrooms turned battlegrounds. Accusations flying. Personal distractions. Suits sneered. Eyeing Liam's influence. Nights. Alexander paced. Gone from stress. The tycoon unraveling. I built this unbreakable. He growled one dawn. Financials strewn like casualties. Now it's dust. Liam, witnessing the fall, felt echoes his own bench bottoms. But armored now. Unbreakable. Nothing is. But rebuildable. That's you. He dragged Alexander to the studio, forcing brushes into hands. Paint it out. Like I do. Reluctant strokes birthed chaos, reds raging. Blues brooding. Alexander's first abstract. Fury on canvas. Feels foolish, he admitted. Paint flecking silver hair. Foolish free. Liam grinned. And freeze where we started. Theo joined the fray. Scripting redemption arcs over takeout. United. They strategized. Liam's foundation pivoted. Offering cyber-safe nets for vulnerable kids. Alexander testified publicly. Vulnerability viral, my sons taught me. Strengths in the shatter. Markets rebounded. Not unscathed, but resilient. Haze 2.0. Humanized. Alexander emerged leaner. Wiser. Crediting families the firewall. Summer solstice marked pivot. Liam proposed to Theo under Central Park's oaks ring simple. Silver pride twined. Marry the mess. He quipped. Knee bent. Theo's yes dissolved into joy. City sighing approval. Wedding whispers began intimate. Artistic. Elena officiating in bilingual vows. But fate's twist lingered. Fall unearthed Elena's secret. Cancer. Stage 3. Whispers of treatments. News hit like thunderclap. Chicago flight hasty. Liam's hand in hers through scans and chemo drips. Fought for you once. She whispered. Frail but fierce. Fight for me now. Alexander mobilized. Top oncologists. Foundation funds flowing. Raoul rallied. Church, prayers not reparative, but redemptive. Theo penned letters. Verses of endurance. Vigil nights. Liam sketched her portraits. Elena eternal. Smiles unyielding. You're my anchor. Mijo. She rasped one eve. And his. Nod to Alexander. Forgiveness full circle. Remission came tentative. Winter's gift a holiday miracle. Table fuller. Toasts tear-streaked. Elena's recovery road stretched. But walked together. Family's rhythm. Resilient. As snow blanketed the city. Liam reflected. From bench to this love's layered. Losses lessons. Alexander. Once frozen. Now fluid father. Theo. Partner in poetry. Elena. Eternal light. The gay teen who'd slept in shadows now slumbered in light. Heart's journey a masterpiece mid-stroke. Yet epiphany beckoned. New Year's Eve. Rooftop with Theo. City fireworks blooming. Liam voiced dreams deferred. Travel. See Ireland's greens. Your LA shores. Write our story, not mine alone. Theo kissed his temple. Ours. Always. Alexander joined. Champagne flutes raised. To chapters unwritten. Dawn broke. Promises pink. Liam. 21. Beheld horizons art unbound. Love limitless. The boy on the bench. A seed. Sprouted strong. Life's narrative. Ever turning. Toward grace. Years folded like gallery accordions. Time's exhibit of evolutions etched in laughter lines and legacy leaves. Liam. At 25. Commanded canvases that crossed ocean solo shows in Berlin. Murals in Mexico City. Each stroke a testament to roots reclaimed. His style matured, impressionist edges softened by surreal hearts. Pride pins pulsing like vital organs amid abstracted aches. Critics called it resonant realism. But Liam knew it was survival. Sanctified. Theo's scripts soared that pilot morphed into an Emmy-nominated series. Shadow codes. Queer coders cracking corporate closets. Liam consulting authenticity. Their marriage. A bohemian blaze in a Brooklyn loft 2 years prior. Wove art and narrative seamless. Vows under willow arches. Elena's bilingual blessings. Alexander's toast teary, from frozen to forever. The Hayes Empire. Phoenix forged. Diversified green. Tech for social good. AI allies for marginalized voices. Alexander. Silvered at 50. Stepped back chair emeritus. Mentor to misfits. Built enough walls. He'd quip. Time for windows. Family fractalized beautifully. Elena. Cancer conquered. Taught Masterclasser Studio a haven for queer artists. Liam guesting with glee. Raul. Transformed quiet. Church deacon now. Sermons on love's broad tent. His apology a private letter framed on Liam's wall, forgive my narrow sight. Nephew. You widen mine. Grandkids dotted holidays. Theo's sisters twins. Rambunctious. Finger painting with Liam. Carlos's niece. Shy poet under his wing. Alexander doted. The childless tycoon reborn grandfather. Bench ghosts banished. Yet depth demanded drama. A decade post-bench. Crisis crested anew. Liam's fertility dreams clashed biology trials. Tears. Theo's steadfast shoulder. Adopt. He suggested. Eyes hopeful. Build our branch. Paperwork piled. Hearts hopeful. Until match, twins. Brothers from a foster fracture. 5 years old. Eyes haunted but hungry. Court days dragged. But homecoming. Magic tiny hands in paint. Bedtime stories Theo voiced dramatic. Parenthood reshaped. Sleepless symphonies. Liam's sketches now stick figure augmented. Alexander's visits legendary. Gadget gifts tempered with wisdom. They've got your fire. He'd say. Watching boys chase fireflies. One autumn equinox. Legacy called. Alexander. Reflective. Pen memoirs code of the heart. Liam ghost illustrating. Chapters candid. The flight from Elena. Bench revelation. Rebuilds raw. Launch packed the Met again. Elena unveiling the cover herself and Alexander. Young lovers stylized. Post-reading. Raul approached. Elder now. Voice gravel soft. Proud of you. All. Hand on Liam's. Full circle. Winter's hush, broad introspection. Liam. Theo. Boys bundled. Visited the bench now plaque marked. Foundation dedication, sanctuary seat. For youth in limbo. Started here. Liam told wide-eyed tots. Ended. Never just begins. Alexander joined. Coat the same. Eyes twinkling. Froze then. Thawed since. Spring bloomed collaborations. Liam's graphic novel. Bench to beacon. Theo scripting. Elena forwarding bestseller beaconing hope. Summer solstice. 10th anniversary. They renewed under oak's vows evolved. Boys scattering petals. Through storms and stars. Theo whispered. As leaves turned. Liam journaled twilight. From teen terror to tapestry weaver. Gay heart guiding. Alexander's health flickered routine check. Shadow spotted but optimism armored. More chapters. Sun. Thanksgiving gathered all Chicago bounties. New York kin. Toasts to tenacity. Elena's laugh rang clearest. Raoul carving turkey tender. New Year's. Fireworks fractal. Liam raised flute. To the boy on the bench who found not just a father, but a family. And Yuzel found. Echoes affirmed, love's ledger. Balanced in grace. The journey. Eternal frozen moments thawed. Into forever's warm embrace. Decades distilled into dawn's gentle haze. The penthouse now Liam's. Inherited with Alexander's passing 5 years prior, bathed in Baltic light from expansive panes. At 42, Liam Hayes Morales mirrored his father's poise, salt-flecked temples. Eyes still hazel sharp. Laugh deeper from joys layered. The space. Once sterile. Pulsed personal, walls woven with family tapestries, Elena's oils. Theo's scripts framed. Boys, now men, abstract experiments. Theo. Silver-maned muse. Stirred coffee beside. Their rhythm a waltz worn well. Gallery call. He murmured. Kiss lingering. Later. Boys first. Twins. 20 now Jax. Engineer inventor. Kai. Activist poet home from colleges. Sprawling breakfast banter. Jax's gadgets word. Kai's verses sparked debates. Grandpa Alex would have loved this drone. Jax grinned. Deploying mini flyer. He did. Liam echoed. Throat catching. Alexander's in peaceful. Post-prostate battle left voids. But volumes, foundation thriving. Memoirs canon. Funeral fused factions. Raoul eulogizing redemption. Elena painting Livia portrait projected. Alexander midlaugh. Elena entwined. Legacy lived loud. Liam helmed the Hayes Foundation. Global now shelters to scholarships. Queer coders coding change. His art. Masterworks, thaw. A triptych touring, museums bench freeze. Family melt. Horizon heat. Theo's series spawned sequels. Shadow legacy. Mentoring young queer scribes. Elena. 70-something firebrand. Guest starred episodes Grandma Grit. Raoul's church. Beacon for bridge building. Annual acceptance altars honoring Liam's spark. Grandkids toddled, Jax's daughter. Pint-sized inventor. Kai's son. Rhymer cider. Holidays helixed, Chicago feasts. New York galas. Ireland pilgrimages, Alexander's roots reclaimed. Cliffs whispering welcomes. Yet narrative nodded to nuance. Jax's coming out by. Bold echoed Liam's. Support seamless. Kai's activism clashed core. Arrests alarming. But family flanked, bail bonds. Bedside vigils. One equinox eve. Liam revisited the bench plaque weathered. But petals placed annual. Theo joined. Hands laced. Full circle? He asked. Spirals. Liam replied. Upward. Journal open. Entries eternal. Gratitudes for ghosts, gentle runaway rawness refined to resonance. Winters we've brought wisdom. Elena. Fading gentle. Gifted final canvas. All generations. Intertwined infinite. My glitch grew galaxies. She whispered. Hand in Liam's. Her passing. Spring soft. Scattered seeds. Memorial mural. Citywide. Rainbows rising. Summer solstice. Liam's retrospective dazzled. Lifetime looped. Benched to beacon. Raoul's successor preached prologue. Jax unveiled tech tribute. Holograph Alexander toasting. Toast echoed. From frozen. To family. As stars wheeled. Liam with Theo. Boys and theirs. Beheld, the gay teen's tale. Timeless kisses in crises. Redemptions in reigns. Love's code compiling complete. Yet in quiet codas. Truth twinkled, no endings. Only ever afters evolving. The billionaire's freeze. First frame of a film unending humanity's hymn. Hummed heartfelt. Liam. Heart's historian. Closed journal, we woke the world. one thaw at a time. And in that awakening, grace abounded eternal, embracing all,